Hello everybody, Brian here yet again from quantlabs.net. Today, this video, I just did a video I put up a few minutes ago on both YouTube and Facebook, the quantlabs.net page. Let me just show you the video, the name of it, because some of you may be interested in it. In the meantime, all the services come from the Quant Analytics service now. That's pretty well alive. Just so you know, the price will be going up as of probably the next week as these signals prove themselves. But here's the video testing signals today for forex, CFD, and cryptocurrencies. So that's about a 10-minute video. From quantlabs.net. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a deeper analysis. So this is a dashboard if you were ever interested in joining the Quant Labs Analytics service. As I said, we have three areas for signaling for cryptocurrency that's systematically generated, as well as CFD from Oanda, and forex analysis for both CFD and forex is from Oanda, while crypto is from Binance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the crypto first because it's late, 6 o'clock nearly on February 8th, Friday. So these two for forex and CFD, you could probably line them up quite nicely for Sunday night. But cryptocurrency is always open, never shuts. So this is the most relevant, so that's where we'll start. So when you go in, all you got to do is you'll go to, I don't know, let's say you pick off forex. You will get a box where you can fill in your email and your name. Click download, it will download the following package to your email, and you'll be able to download it. So like I said, we're going to look at the CFD first. So this is what's in your package. I've talked about this in past videos. Namely, what you want to look for out of this is the whipsaws. The whipsaws are really important because those are the ones, if you did put on a position at that time, you most likely will have a high potential of losing your shirt. You're losing your position. So I track that. And what I do is I have another spreadsheet that I generate called the most profitable. The most profitable is the one that is on a list. So these are the ones where there's whipsaws at these times will last 7-8 hours. As you can tell, this one, Ethereum, Bitcoin, today at 1528, there was a whipsaw. So you don't want to take on at this time any of these pairs on Binance because of the whipsaws. So we track and log those for that exact reason. But to get you around that, what I've done is I've got this thing called most profitable. It's a spreadsheet. Everything's either a spreadsheet, a Word document, a CSV, comma separated value, or a chart, PNG. So in here, what we've got here is, let me just load this puppy up. It's called most profitable. So at this time, as it was generated, these are the most profitable ones with a higher likelihood of getting you a profitable position. So these are the ones that should be somewhat safe. Now this was generated a few hours ago when the markets were hot. This includes Litecoin, ICX, ZEC, BNB, and Litecoin. What you want to do is cross-reference those against your whipsaws. So usually ones that I'm seeing that look good, and I just tested this, was Zcash is not having any form of whipsaw, so that might be a good one. BNB, Bitcoin might be another one. Litecoin, Ethereum might be good as well. So usually I just like to work with the top three, but here are the hourly changes. This is how good the markets were. Zcash was up 13.14%, BNB against Bitcoin was up 11.7%, and Litecoin was up against Litecoin Ethereum was up 11.38%. Even though when you look at here, ICX, this one here, that in the background's the analysis, the signals that come in every minute. This one I just got here is for my minute-by-minute strategy. That is no longer available for the public. That is real-time signaling every minute pretty well, which is quite good. Anyways, back to this. So in here we have the most profitable. As I said, your best bet are this one, ZEC, Zcash, BNB Bitcoin, and Litecoin Ethereum. So out of that lot, when you look at this, it's pretty deep what we can do here based upon the reports. As I said, we have a watch list that is currently what's available. Yeah, that's what. And this should filter out those potential whipsaws. So this is what might be good to trade. That's on the whipsaw as of this time. Again, what I like to do is just to see these ones right now, these three. So I can load up TradingView for the fastest analysis, if you want my opinion. It's just a form of being able to filter out what works, what doesn't work, in pretty close to, I won't say real time, but not farther off than an hour maximum. So if we look at this one we just did in the previous video, in here what we've got here is, oops, let me just pull that up again. So that is this one, Zcash Ethereum. So like I said, we're working off of Binance data. So in here, I do know that the technicals are going to be a strong sell. Now again, this was generated at 3:45. This is about 2 hours ago. Let's see what it says here. So this is a 1 day. But I do remember, if you look at the 1 minute, let's see what the 1 minute says. Now it goes into a buy. So depending upon your time frame, this pair would be good for 1 minute if you can kind of automate that. But that's what we're doing in this in the course, the Python Infrastructure Building Block course. Okay, BNB. Right here, BNB. Ugh. This one's been on a real tear lately, I gotta say. I've been making some very good money with this pair here over the last probably week or so. You'll see why. Load up the daily chart. This has been a very, very good pair to me over the long run. You'll see the rise of this thing. They have predicted this will be probably the surprising. So the strategy was turned on about this time, and you can clearly see that that peak that we've had over the last few days has been just absolutely amazing. When you break it down, even to my sorry, that's the 5 day. There is volatility here, but what my strategy does, it does do the volatile, filters out the volatility or the whipsaws. But even if you were to hang on to, let's say, a 1 month, I mean, you'd be doing pretty good. And you got a buy here as well, which is a nice pair to work with. And this one's BNB Binance Coin, which can be only found on Binance, the exchange. That has been an awesome pair to trade. This one, just in the last 24 hours, has done really well as well. When you factor in this one, again found on Binance, nothing else here on Binance. Again, you'll see how well this one has done in the last day. Apparently it came back 10%. I haven't confirmed that, or we're just about to find out. And it's still pretty hot. Lots of opportunity for the last day. Here you got a buy signal still. Will it fall back? I don't know. You can see here that's just in 2019. It's done very, very well. Very nice. Even just for the last day, you can see here it's just had a really nice run up. And these signals appear to be working really nice. And again, I'm only working with the top 3 ICX. If I look at ICX and see if it's on the whipsaw list here. So do we have ICX? This might be another one, but ICX did have a whipsaw at 1227. Let's see what that might entail. So that was ICX Ethereum. We're just doing this for experimentation purposes. I think it was Ethereum. Oh, I'm sorry. No, hold on. ICX BTC is what we want. Or no, my apologies. We are looking at the most profitable here. Yeah, so ICX Ethereum. So that's correct. Let's just see what we've got here. So, yeah, you can see why it's not really a good one to trade. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Okay, so those are the top 3, but fun doesn't stop there. What we got is a couple of other very cool, helpful things here. Now, remember, this is fairly old, so we've included stop losses, what's available on the, is this a CSV? Okay, give me a second here. I'm just going to set up a spreadsheet here. I'm going to use a CSV file. This is a very, very nice, useful file. All, again, part of the Quant Analytics service. Right now, it's only $97. If this continues the way it's going over the next few days, I see no reason to keep it at that price. Okay. Let's see what we've got going on here. There's so many things going on this computer. I'm just trying to do the basics. Man. Text data, that's what we want. Okay, so this is comma separated. This is pretty cool. So if I copy that in the spreadsheet, fixed with width delimited by tab or comma, you can clearly see here, this is a nice thing. So here, if you were to trade any of these, like say BNB, we have set Fibonacci levels for you right along here. On top of, we set stop losses for both the take profit and the stop loss itself. And if you want to go full in or half in, we cover those levels too as part of the file. This is really popular, I can tell, among a lot of people. But again, we're not here to talk numbers. People like to see visuals and charts, so that's what we focus on. Okay, so in here, a couple things that may be of interest as well. We have the ability to chart the hot coins by volume. And again, these are snapshots. So right now, what the hot ones are XMR, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash. Those are the heavily traded ones right now, according to that batch. As well, in terms of profit, let me just show you that. Let's see here, crypto most profitable. This one right here. Preview. So I can see here that at the time, Zcash was on fire, XMR was doing well, Bitcoin was up too. This is a while back. Again, if you want to be able to watch for things like harmonics, head and shoulder patterns, and candles, you can do that too. Get that to CSV. Let me just pull up another proper file here, text edit. Oh, no. So you can see here at the time we have head and shoulders, we have our candle patterns. These are really good. If it's bullish or not, these are really good signs. So for instance, we have here potential opportunity with what's the, okay, so it's BTS, BTC. So let's check out that roughly at that time. BTS, BTC, and that candle was formed at what time? 2:30. Let's see what happened at 2:30. Okay, so 2:30. Let's pull up the one-day chart. Now we are looking for roughly 2:30, so I'm going to estimate it's in and around here. What happens? Boom. An hour, 2:30. So it looks like we had some candles form, giving you an opportunity, and it did go up. So when you have the ability to even just watch these candles, these are really useful as an early warning sign to tell you that something's brewing. And when you get two of them specifically, that will tell you that this is going to move, most likely. Especially when you get two bullish signals like that. All right, so let's look for our reports. So the other thing I like about this setup with the service is the reports. So as I said, we have various Excel files, but we also include Word documents. So we have crypto long, and then we can also filter the longs in the volume or trend. We also include short, but I never look at that because those are, you can't short on Binance. So typically what will happen is here, if you look at the size, 37K, will tell you no data is generated for that. So we only have either the long or based upon volume. So if I look at that file, one thing you should pay attention to is the number of pages. There's a lot of charts in this. So here you can see there's here we go, number of pages here, 35 pages. A couple things on how I interpret this. We have the group volume and group mean. Group volume, sorry, and the group volatility. So 0.05 and 100 or 103 million. So these are sorted by probability of doing better when this was generated. A couple things that we can take away from these particular pairs we have here. Ripple XRP against Bitcoin. I do like how these are classic moving average crosses. So they're a little more spread out, which means that there's less false positives, which is good. The other thing is I look for in this chart is the trend. Is it up? And it's slightly up. That's good. Here, the Fibonacci levels are fairly tight, which doesn't say a lot. So there's not a lot of movement there because it hasn't moved out. But when you look at the daily returns, there's clearly more, in a long shot, more positive returns for XRP versus a negative. So that's a good thing. Now for timing, what we look for are these harmonics. So here we have a bullish butterfly harmonic. We generate a chart. This may actually move. We also have a head and shoulder. This is, if based upon trend, this is clearly overvalued. So that wouldn't be surprising me when you look at the Fibonacci levels. That's why it's tight, because you have algos in there, as we discussed last night with the charting. A lot of algos, especially on something like Binance, where they're automated and it's eyeing the RSI. If this is high, really quite high over the neckline of this head and shoulder, that clearly tells you it's overvalued. Does not mean you don't have opportunity. Yeah, you do have opportunity, but you don't expect big moves to come out of it. I mean, this is what these dots are here for. This is the downward move that's expected. This is the upward move. So if you jumped in, I don't know what the time is, but let's say a month or two ago, when XRP was really moving, you can clearly see, you'd see that head and shoulder pattern, and it did meet and hit that expected level on the head and shoulder. So in here, what we have here is we have two bullish signals. Again, if I was to pull up this, this is typically a trend, two trend lines that are working overlaid on top of Fibonacci. These two trend lines, when they tighten up like that, you can expect a move. In here is some gibberish, but you can again apply the stop loss and take profit levels if you were to decipher that. But let me just pull up this on TradingView and see what it says on a 5-minute or a, better yet, I can see when. The other thing I want you to pay attention to, so this is page 5, is the generation time. So this was generated at 16:01:25 seconds. So we go back to where we were on page 5 here. Here we are. And then these candles are really important. You can use these as early indicators of a move. So if I go to TradingView to verify that, you'll probably see it. But you'll have to look at it from the day chart. So here we have Ripple. That's Binance. We want to make sure it matches up with the right exchange, because you'll see the discrepancies on each exchange as it loads up. But you can see the slight discrepancy in price. It's quite deep. So let's go into the day chart, the 1-day chart here. See what happened at 16. So just around 16, let's say just around here, look at that. It did move up. So that's what your candles are telling you. These things are so reliable. Look at that, right about there. Boom. You can see it. I wish I could zoom in on it, but right here, it just popped. And why is that? You can definitely, dollars to donuts, always bet on these candles. These are very valuable to have in your tool set. And we just verified that with another pair. We can now also verify it with XRP as well against Bitcoin. And here, again, we can verify that as this tightens up. Sometimes it's not as predictable, but I've had really good luck with these candles. And as you get to know the particular candles, I filtered out as best as I can the reliable ones. But depending upon the type of candle, they can be more reliable as you get to know them. So here's our performance. But again, we studied yesterday these things, the RSI and momentum. We did that on a minute level. We also added in other indicators, including the what was there? There was the rate of change, as well as the average true range as well. And you can clearly see the opportunities. Some of them are false, but a good chunk of them work really nice. See here, we had this big move, came back down. Now we're trading not on a daily basis, but on a, I would say a 15-minute basis if you use these signaling correctly, but that's a nice move. And that was a big dot that really just moved it into the second level. And again, when you watch these are pretty good. So check out another one. So this, again, is based upon volume. Now, as I said at the beginning of this report, it's always really helpful if you want to filter out what works and what doesn't. Always look out for these two right here. So if I was to copy these into another file, just for reference sake. Okay, so for instance, if I go to XRP, you can clearly see that it's more volatile than the group, but the volume is not as much. That's quite odd, but according to what I'm reading there. Okay, so let's go to XLM. So let's just check out the overall trading view technical. So here, as I said, this thing right here is very, 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 very useful. As you can see here, it's just slightly under the volatility, standard deviation against the group mean volatility, and the volume's a little higher as well. So that's pretty good. Oh, and also the thing is that I like is the Fibonacci level, a golden range, golden value. That basically means it's a good time to trade. It's not overvalued. Let me just see what XRP was at. I don't think it was valued all that well. Okay, so we're only going to look at the top three again. So we are looking, okay, so you can see here the Fibonacci, it is in the golden zone, so it is worth trading. Okay, so let's check out our next one, XLM, sorry, what was it? XLM? Okay, so first thing we want to do is what are the technicals according to TradingView. So let's see what it said here, XLM, BTC. Okay, so the technicals would be nice. Now, sometimes it depends upon when you trade. If it's a daily buy signal, but if you go to lower time frames, you will find, so we're in a sell. Doesn't mean go to 5 minute strong sell, 15-minute sell, and a minute. So this does not look all that good. That's current, but let's just do some analysis, see what it was trying to tell us. So here again, the signaling looks pretty good actually because it does move, and when it does put in a signal, like here, it will move up. It's pretty consistent, but here's the problem. It's the trend is flat, and again, very tight Fibonacci levels. Something I like to look at is the daily returns, more negative than positive, not a good sign. Let's check out the harmonics. So we have a bearish harmonic, not a good combination. The head and shoulder, what are we looking at? Again, it's overvalued, as we should. Interesting, we have a bullish candle. That was a few days ago. That's no good. Okay, so don't know. Not a big fan of this one, but let's just check out Cardano now. Again, as an example, let's see here what we have. So again, the Cardano is more volatile than the group. The volume is higher than the group as well, so that's a good sign. It is not within the golden zone, but let's figure out why. This clearly is just not a good coin. It's got a downward trend. Doesn't mean there's no trading opportunity here, but chances are if you put on a position, it probably will go against you. Right there, it says it all. More negative daily returns, so there's more downward movement on this thing. But we have a harmonic, it's bullish. Okay. Head and shoulder, what we got here? Oh, it's way overvalued historically. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Look at that, 3 candles. But here they were on generated at these times here at 7 p.m. Monday. We'll just see what happened, just to see if those candles did come true or not. So that's Monday, February 4th. Okay, that's ADA. And what was that against? That was 88 BTC. Okay. ADA BTC. Binance, please. Thank you. Okay, let's look for the technicals. Now, again, we're looking for Monday, February 4th, 19 o'clock, which is 7 p.m. Okay, so where are we at? So we are a sell. So if I pull up, let's call it a 5-day chart. Okay, so here we are on the 5-day. It did go up. That's quite the nice rise. Now, I did talk about this earlier. The markets have just gone crazy up. But where's our 5-day chart? So where's February 4th? Yep, did it again. I have 5. Let's just see if the candles did come true at 19. A little bit. Not worth bragging about, but here it didn't catch it here. But it's too bad. But usually the candles can be pretty good. Okay, moving on. Yeah, you can see that it is tightening up down here. It's undervalued, so it did get the profit did get driven up, but I think that had to do with more of the cool crypto space went up. Okay, so that's that. So that's the report based upon volume. Man, this is so much fun. Okay, we have another report to look at. This one's the long. So as I said, the trend one, there is no data. I'm not going to look at the short because, well, we don't short. It's there if people are interested. Maybe I think it's Bittrex. So here on the long, what do we got? Now the long's anything. It's not based upon trend. It's not based upon volume. So here we only have 2. Our friend that we talked about as before, BTS BTC and XMR BTC. This might be interesting. So here with XMR, which is Monero, you can clearly see that there's quite a few, I'll call them false positives. Downward trend for XMR does not mean it's a bad a pair. It's actually quite good. Undervalued. It just it moves right. That's all I can say. Again, it's more negative. Here we have the harmonic pattern. Oh, it's bearish. I don't know. Don't like bearish. We don't. Who wants bearish? Head and shoulder. See, it's just here historically it's overvalued. So there's no candles for it. So interesting current crypto pair. You can see it's sort of it has been moving up. I'll pull up the 30-day right here. That's a nice move. That's in the last day. Okay, and again, that's what you like to see. 5, like out of 6 days, only one bad day. But overall, that's pretty good. This one came up as well. The volume's fairly low. It is within our value of the Fibonacci. Again, it's just been beaten down. Again, it's downward trend. Very tight Fibonacci levels. Yeah, this is one of those been banged up pretty bad. Lots of daily negative returns here. You can see that. Interesting though, we have a harmonic pattern. It's bullish. Okay, and a head and shoulder. So so here it's interesting. Classically, what you can expect, because it's the neckline's been downward, but traditionally if we wait for the price to hit here, then we go in. But usually a lot of times these patterns can break down. So on the 5th, we had again at 17 o'clock or 19 o'clock. Let me just see how this looks. BTS, BTC. BitShare. Not sure if this is the BitTorrent one that they've been talking about. Now let's see what we've got here. So we are on Binance. See how this has been doing historically. Just been slaughtered, but it does have a buy signal. I don't know. I just think that there's better opportunities to go after. But let's just see what's been going on. You can clearly see it's been bottoming out here. This is what you look for. Up moves, then a series of down moves. That's the volatility. Those are the whipsaws I've talked about. But then we get a big up move, goes flat for a little bit. Who knows where it's going to go? But every time there's an up move, it comes back down. This is one of those pairs you just don't really want to trade, but it does have positive momentum. So that's a tough one. But I would probably be looking for better opportunities elsewhere. Okay, and you think the fun stopped there? Oh no, we got a killer file for you. I've shown this before. I'll just show this very quickly. The crypto rank. Now by now, because this analysis has been too long, I bet you by now a new file has been generated. But here, when I say new file, new package that we can analyze, because it does get updated every hour. So somebody told me there's an icon here. Question is, which icon? There's supposed to be a sword icon along here. I'm sure I'll find it one day. Just do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, so what we want to sort on is slope, column N. All right, descending. Okay, so here we can see which ones are doing pretty good. So we do have it. Yeah, it looks like we have everything sorted. So you can see here what I said. BNB has been doing good. EOS, Litecoin, Ven, Ethereum Classic, and then ZRX. Out of these, you got to factor in which ones are volatile, which ones are not. Here you can get your timing on your bullish. So we have a bullish Gartley on Litecoin. I also do put in buy signals as well from a variety of things. So it doesn't look like there's any buy signals right now, but there is BTS. BTC has a buy signal, and that's pretty well it for that. Oh, there's another one here. Hang on here. Which one was that? So XMR BTC as well. It's got a buy signal. Also, we have sell signals if you're interested. Trending, the volume is very helpful, but I'm not really seeing that be a negative thing so far. Momentum, no different than your slope. Obviously, standard deviations, your volatility, and then harmonic patterns, bullish or bearish. So we have a bullish, then we have bearish as well. You can tell here. So you can verify all that. And then you can get into the more statistics stuff as well. And then, of course, we have our closing price as well. The last one. At the time when this file, when this Excel file was generated. That's a lot of information for crypto, I got to tell you. And then, of course, we have different raw data you can look at. Whipsaws I've just talked about as well, the alerts. So that's what you get in the crypto world, and that's every hour, never closing. Never, ever, ever closing. All right, so what else do we have to look at? Well, I did promise forex and CFD. That won't be as extravagant. Here we have some reports I've shown you. We have longs, one filtered on trend, another one filtered on volume. We have a regular long, and then we have a short. So let's say if I check out the long, actually I think the better one, to be really honest, is by volume. Again, this data comes from Oanda, and you got to be very careful on what you trade, because if the volume's too low or liquidity, you will just sit there and your position will stay open because there's no fills that will come in to close it out, which is not what you want if the price actually goes down and you're stuck. So I would not recommend those, but we do provide the data if needed. So here are some more higher volume currency pairs. Again, we have the same thing as before, which we'll make a note here again for comparison. Okay. So here we have now a couple things I got to be very upfront about when it comes to CFD and forex. I'm not a big fan. I put all my money into crypto because it's easier. You'll see that to get the same kind of returns you can expect with crypto, you have to put on leverage of up to 10 times, and it's pretty high risk to do because these things can go against you. Not only that, but the broker, I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to say this. The broker may or may not be Oanda, can kick you out of your trades prematurely. So you got to be careful on that as well. So those sort of things can go against you. That's why they call it dumb money versus smart money. So here I with the pound against the New Zealand dollar, it comes back to the same freaking thing that I've talked about before in crypto. There's a lot of false positives, very volatile, downward trend. The Fibonacci levels, but not a lot of range in the price moves. So here again, the stats, everything's the same. Actually, this is more positive though. That's a good thing. Now we're talking. We got a bullish harmonic. That's good. So, but we have a bearish harmonic as well. And you will get these. These can be confusing. So when I get both, anything to do with bearish, I just won't touch, to be truthful. But doesn't mean that you ignore also the bullish as well. Let's just out of curiosity, let's just see how this is looking. Because I showed in another video that the Scandinavian currencies were doing pretty good. I haven't looked at the pound against the New Zealand dollar yet. Let's just check it out. Again, all this is part of the Quant Analytics service. $97 right now. It will go up, as I've just verified in my previous video that a good chunk of these can be very valuable. So I'm going to look at the day chart here. This, again, all these files get updated every hour. So you can see here why this was picked. It had some nice moves here, but it's very tiny when you look at 1.916 to 1.1. I mean, those are tiny moves. Looks good on a chart, but to get the kind of swing that you would want with crypto, this is where you need leverage, and this is why I do not like forex, because of this leverage needed to get this, in this case, the inflated rate of return that you would get with crypto. So, and you can also see here it is in a buy signal. So that's pretty good for forex. But hopefully, I convinced you why the way to do crypto is better. You can see here it has been moving up. I'll give you the 30-day chart. Might be a better. So this is not bad. That's a pretty good move. Again, if you're willing to put on the leverage, you can definitely do that. I can have a script that will definitely do that. Now, the one I've been getting a lot of buzz on is the Australian dollar. So let's check out this. Curious to see how. So the volume is nowhere as high as the group. It is less volatile. So this is going to be an interesting one to check out. So again, this is not so bad. Well, not really. All these fake, false positive, downward trend. I don't know. You're really throwing pennies, dollars to get pennies. When in crypto, if you throw dollars at crypto, you can get back dimes and quarters versus the returns that you would get on forex. Again, though, without the leverage. With the leverage, does not make me all that comfortable. Look, it has not moved a lot. Again, more negative. I think we're on a good run right now, and we can tell by that by looking at once again at our somewhat can be reliable harmonic pattern. We have a bullish one here, which is good. Oh, now we're talking. So now these look good. I gotta fix these days. These candles are pretty strong. So that was the British pound and the Australian dollar. This might be a setup for Brexit. So I hope this is. And it doesn't really matter on the world of forex. So if we track this every day and we capture these trades as they're either bottoming out, so here it's not too bad. For the day, we have a buy signal again. Let's see how the day chart looks. See, it has not moved. We've had some opportunity here, but yet again, the moves here are just nothing. I don't know. But yeah, I gotta say those bullish are not bad. So these signals kind of work. I will admit that. I would not put a lot into it. It's not exactly as exciting as the previous pair. This one got flagged, the US dollar and the Norwegian krone. I'm hoping this one's a little better. Once again, when you compare the volatility points, yeah, so this one's less volatile. That's better. The volume is nowhere as good. You might be asking what are these signals for? This is a minute-by-minute strategy. You can see that's basically scalps. Okay, here we go. Again, actually, it looks pretty good. These I don't see a lot of false positives in here. That's not bad. But this one came up as my top pick. This is a flat trend. It's better. The Fibonacci levels are a little more spread out, which is good. Yeah, I'd say, well, it's evenly split with the day, positive versus negative returns. Okay, now we get into something very interesting. So we have two harmonics, bullish and a bearish. That cancels each other out. So is this a two? Yeah, so we have one bullish, one bearish. So that kind of takes away, but here's something. So we have more recently two bullish candle patterns. Let's check out this chart. USD. Now, you might be asking if you're just joining us, why am I comparing this on TradingView? The reason is because this filters out a lot of the bad trades. This will allow you just to focus on a few select that look good, and this can be used as a tool to help you determine that. But with TradingView, obviously you can use the entire community for this. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty strong move up. Buy signal. That's good. Let's see what the day chart looks like. That's good too. So this clearly is a winner, as my previous video did mention. So I do like that. I prefer this than the other two. That is no doubt. The recent moves, I believe it was the pound against the New Zealand, look okay. What we can do is we can go a little crazy and just look at the reports for the stronger trend. Now again, this does not count volume. So now we're loading in the trend report. Okay. I have to close some of these files. So I'm going to close this one. And again, you'll see, okay, this one's not so bad. Number of pages, only 3. Okay, so this one's not, oh, there, it's just going up. So this one has 100 pages. That's how involved when I say deep, it is deep. It does chew up a lot of my computer time here. So this is the trend line. Let me see if there's anything else open. Yeah, I'll close these. These are from crypto. You can see why the power of this thing is powerful, the analytics for the depth. So I'm just showing you once again what looks good, what does not look good. Now there's a couple of pairs in here that I'm not a big fan of, but I will say one that I have been eyeing, that this is not too bad. The US dollar against the rupee. You see here recently it has had a nice up move, but has come back down. But here's the nice thing, the uptrend. Not a lot of currencies can say that. It is nice spread out, but it's top heavy right now in terms of value. The returns, look at that. That's evenly split. We have some bearish. Don't ask me on that. Yeah, maybe this might not be such a good one. Let me just see what we have on TradingView, see what it says. I think this had its time, but the timing might not be so good. If you ask me, I like the US dollar against the Norwegian krone. That looked really good. Okay. Come on, daddy. Okay. See, it's what I thought. So it's had its time between April and August. Did it have a comeback? Yeah, but historically it's nothing to get all worked up about. But there is a buy signal, as you can see here. But we're just loading up the daily chart. So this is kind of going nowhere fast, so I lost interest. And I can probably guarantee you the other pair mentioned here is not that good either. So, and that would be, what pair is that? So that's the US and Japanese yen. Yeah, that's a downward trend. I'm not even going to bother looking at this. Okay, so let's get into the world of exciting CFD. Now, if you're new to this, I would be very, 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 very careful trading CFD, but I do think CFD is very useful if you're a futures trader or an options trader. It's a gateway to the poor man's world of futures trading for CFD. So let me load that up. I like CFDs just so you know what's good to trade. If you have ETFs, this is a good indicator to play with as well. So that's why I like it. But hopefully you see why I like crypto. There's just more opportunity in the world of crypto. Okay, so what things can we look at in this? If few things I like to look at is the hourly profit. Again, the markets are shut. But again, just from a long view, what can we see here? Well, you can clearly see if you wanted to short the Deutsche 30, you can definitely do that. The UK top 100 is doing okay. What else do we have here? The Hong Kong 33 is doing But look at the daily moves. Okay, 132. Again, let me show you in the world of crypto, same similar chart like this one. And again, these are hourly moves, these by percent. This is the difference. So people get all excited when there's a 1.32% move or a 2.13% move down. But look at this. This is the top three. Zcash up 13%, and XMR up 7.24%. And you got these paltry up moves. And again, Bitcoin Cash is up almost 4%. Again, and you could trade this without leverage. With these ones, CFD gets worse than forex, but there's very little liquidity in the world of CFD. So, as I said before, you need to be very careful if you are going to trade these. You can hold on to positions because there's no one trading them. You could get stuck in trades for hours, 4 hours, 8 hours. So be very careful what you choose here. So the only one that's really worth looking at in this file is the CFD built on volume and nothing else. Again, I can show. Well, I want to show you the crypto rank. That might be important just to show you how tiny the volume is for some of these. A good example would be natural gas. Let's try. Okay, so right here, I've got a spreadsheet going to load up. But again, these are sort of useful. But again, I can sort. This time I'm going to sort on volume. And I can also sort on slope. So if I first do a sort on volume, column I, this is useful, and I'll show you why. So even if you're a ETF trader or a futures trader, this is useful. I would figure, because this will tell you right now which ones are getting the most volume, and this shifts. So right here you can tell that we have obviously a NASDAQ, the US top 30, the US Russell 2000, Deutsche, and then oil. Those are the top highest volume. Oddly, we get INR, Brent crude, and then it tapers off. But if you were to look at this file and generate it after, let's say, 6, 7, 8 p.m., it shifts because the volume will shift and you'll get more China, Hong Kong, because that's when the Asian markets are open. And sometimes even the Australian markets. And these will wither off. So these were generated when the U.S. markets were open. So, as I said, you can use these for futures purposes. So this one, for Brent, if it does take off, you will see it. I've seen instances where you see natural gas, which is all the way down here, do really well. When the markets turn, this is a very useful analysis because you'll see which ones are the hot ones. You'll see in my previous video on the CFD, I mentioned copper. Copper did okay. Here we have the gold and silver ratio. This one's pretty good. I've seen news stories on it. That one is a surprise for a lot of people, but this can give you some nice performance when the volume calls for it, when the markets are not looking good. Natural gas is obviously a seasonal. That one can be amazing good. Another one to watch is sugar, but again, it has very little volume. But this one can move when the time comes. All the other ones, not so much. Anyway, so that's my tip for that. All right, so the other one I wanted to show you was, okay, again, note from the ranking where Hong Kong is, it's not too bad. It's 12th. Okay, but if I was to sort on this, and only sort on slope. Okay, just give me a second here while I'll set this up. Alright. Okay, we just gotta go over to the slope. Okay, slope is column N. I'll find that icon to do the sort. Seems to be kind of ticked at that. Bro, you have an icon there at the top. Yeah, I've got 100 icons and I'm going to go through that. Okay. Anyways, here's your top performers. This again is very useful because if you're an ETF, you can clearly see where the profit is. Is that right on the slope? Yeah, I would think so. So you can see here, here's our winners, is the NASDAQ, the top 30, Russell, and then the Deutsche. And then again, oil, those are your top 5. So again, you can watch these and be able to trade accordingly in your space if it's futures, options, or CFD, or sorry, ETF. So it can have some use. So I say it's only research only, but some of these I would not trade on no end of. One last thing I want to show you is the report, as I was going to hint at. I'm going to look at this one as well. So the volume can be helpful too. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but you get the same depth of knowledge. So here we have WTI right here. This thing's on the move. You can clearly see that. Let me get the group volume and mean. Okay, so it's so the volume is half of what the group is. Deviation, sorry, volatility. Yeah, it's a little more volatile, as you can see here on the chart. But this is what I like to see. What do we got here? Okay, boom. This is a good one. Why? Because you got the trend going up. That is good. Traditionally, if you have this price and it breaks that trend, that's your entry. But why do that? Because you've got other signals that can tell you, or other indicators that can tell you this is the time to get in if the momentum's there. And how you tell is, again, the harmonics. This is good right here. Back in November, it did bottom out and kind of bounced around there in mid or late December, and it is moving up. That's good. But here you can clearly see the momentum's being lost here on the 30-day. So this does have potential. It was definitely something to get into back in the day if you were watching this on a daily basis, but this is not something I'd get overly concerned with. Now, usually I don't see harmonics or candles for CFD. I just don't think there's enough volume to be able to get enough data to generate candles or harmonics. But you can still kind of use for your pure technical. Here's the Deutsche. Not a fan of those. Here I'll say this looks okay because you have an uptrend. But here, this is when the report came out that they're officially somehow in a recession. And look at those negative moves. I'll show you that in the 30-day report. See? Right here. Just about here. I don't know, at some point that report came out, boom, boom, for the last 3 days, getting hammered. The 2000, the Russell 2000 is another interesting one. See how it compares against the group. So it's less volatile, The volume is almost where the group is. So this is useful. See what it has on the visual front. That right there, if you saw that as your buy signal, that would have been a good time to get in. Once again, we have a steep slope. That is good. Type Fibonacci's though. Well, it seems to be undervalued on the head and shoulder, but this is why I like my RSI. It's clearly moving up. Again, look at that run up, and that was January, December to January. Wow, that's a nice run up. Very good. But you can see, beautiful. This is a good indicator on the 30. You can see that's just hitting that RSI level, and it does tell you, which we confirmed last night, that at some point this run up does run out of steam, which it clearly has, but it's caught it, and again it's running out. So where does it go from there? I don't know, but clearly the bulls are no longer taking charge as they did here back in the first week of January. Ran out, and yeah, it seems to be running out of steam. Probably the same thing could be said for the top 30. Again, nice uptrend considering what we had over the last 30, 40 days. Now it's starting to get overvalued again. And usually that is typically something that will hammer back the upswings that we've been seeing. So you'll see it's probably starting to not peak, but that's from a historical point of view. But you see, that's what's happened. It just hits at 70 and starts to taper off, kills off the momentum as well. Just right about here. It could. I don't think you'll get the strength as in the bull run as before. It may kind of go into a trading range for a while and then eventually taper out as the fundamentals and the outlook for the economy just is not as strong. So I would expect the market, especially in the U.S., will drop off. Now, the interesting thing is if I was to show you China, which may be out of interest there, or an Asian market, let me just see if there is. So we have NASDAQ. You might be able to see it in the shorting. There's a short. No. So we have another one based on trend. Let's see. I just want to show you the comparison with Asia, because I think Asia is starting to come alive, namely China and Hong Kong. Their economy seems to be getting stronger. Europe looks good, but again, I think it's going to be the same as. So okay, so we got some good ones. We can show you what will take off now. So I think these are potential buying opportunities. I can show you, I believe that's gold. Yeah, gold. I always get these two confused. So it may shift back into things like gold, silver on the CFD front. So that was XAU. So these are shorting right now. But I think in the next week, you'll probably start to see. So we got XAU. Let's see what we have here for signals. Right now, I think we're going to hit a bottoming. So yeah, that is a gold Oanda CFD. So what we got here. This one does okay, but when you factor in gold silver ratios, I call it, that one always outperforms. Let's see here. Is there technicals? See, there's not enough data here, not enough volume, I think, to say we can't generate a buy signal for you. But again, we can rely on what we see here. See, it is coming back. The price has come back. We have a new buy signal right here, but it's down. But you can see it's above trend. So this would have been the time to enter in. And it may, yeah, it's undervalued, so this may start to perform. Hold on here. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the U.S. Bond 5-year. That's just as good as a defense play. So this would be okay. But again, to trade this in Oanda is a little dicey, but I'd be very curious to try it out. On the 30-day view, see what I mean? Four positive, 4, but here's the volatility kicks in. That's really dependent upon the U.S. market. So that would be an interesting one to try out, but I just don't think the volume's there, especially for the CFD. So what are we looking at now? So 30-year, I'm not going to get into that. But I think we're going to go starting to get some defensive. It's going to start bottoming out. But I'm more interested in the gold and out of the ones that I've seen that do really well. So we've got the U.S. bond here. The Deutsche is definitely not going to be a defense play. Otherwise, we'd see it. Okay, this is what we want right here. This one, XAU, XAG, which is gold, silver. This is probably the best one as a defense play. If it does, the markets do drop. Yeah, gold, silver. This one's really good. Probably won't be able to get your technicals. Yeah, see, there's not enough volume here to drive the buying signals. But what we can see here is slightly moving up. See, it has a positive trend. I wouldn't be surprised this does get driven up, but it's been very tight. I don't know. Usually you can tell by the moving averages as they get squeezed and they come together. See here, yeah, that's what's happening right now is the moving averages are coming together. So RSI, yeah, it's still bouncing around, but I would watch this for sure if the markets turn. This is where I'd put my capital if I was to bet on CFDs. You can see again, the price has been moving up, uptrend again with gold. Yeah, it's overvalued though. It will come down. But it may go up. Last 2 days. Very interesting. So again, all of this is part of the analytics service. $97 for now, but it will go up. As you can see, it is pretty in depth. If you're willing to put the work in, you can do quite well with it. So we'll leave it at that for 7 o'clock here. A good couple hours on this stream. If you have been watching, thank you very much. And if you've got any questions, just let me know via the comments on YouTube or Facebook. We shall talk to you later. And as I said, I would put all your focus into crypto. You can do much better. Here you're going to get returns of pennies versus overnight. You can do very, very well in 1 day on cryptos. I've shown you on the difference between 13% an hour move versus 1 or maybe if you're lucky 2%. Huge difference. No leverage needed for crypto as well. On that, have a good day, and we shall talk to you later. Have a good day.